was under attack, dodging arrows from my past. I had no hope for tomorrow. Felt so much pressure, yes, I thought I would crack, but now there's no looking back. I'm moving forward, cause I know I got my armor now. No fear, no doubt, can't shoot me down, yeah. I got my armor now, no fear, no doubt, gonna shoot me down, 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 down. Now I'm bulletproof because of you, because of you. And now I'm bulletproof because of you, because of you. You love me away, now I'm not afraid. No matter what the world may say or what they do, I am bulletproof because of you, because of you, you. I know you got this whole thing under control. My soul is untouchable because you've already won me. My victory is not in this flesh and bone, it's in the cross, and I know nobody's taking it from me. I got my armor now, no fear, no doubt, can't shoot me down, yeah. I got my armor now, no fear, no doubt, gonna shoot me down, 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 down. Now I'm bulletproof because of you, because of you. And now I'm bulletproof because of you, because of you. You love me away, now I'm not afraid. No matter what the world may say or what they do, I am bulletproof because of you, because of you, you. And I don't have to fear no more, worry no more. I don't have to fear no more, worry no more. And I don't have to fear no more, worry no more. I don't have to fear no more, worry no more. Bulletproof because of you, because of you. And now I'm bulletproof because of you, because of you. You love me away, now I'm not afraid. No matter what the world may say or what they do, I am bulletproof because of you, because of you, you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Remnant Kids, week 3 of online church. Yeah, I've enjoyed it. Hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've been spending some quality time with your family and taking our lessons and using them to apply to your life throughout the week and just doing different activities with our lessons. Today I'm super excited because Cassandra, is going to bring you the word today and teach you another step of the process that Jesus had to go through to sacrifice his life for us. So, are you ready? I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this.
All right. This week we're going to be talking about Peter, and I'm not sure if you know this story yet or not, but you're about to learn it. So, it's time for confessions. Now, adults, I want you to participate in this. How many of you have ever broken an egg? I have. Well, whether it's a raw egg that you've dropped during Easter time, when you're dyeing the Easter eggs, or a raw hard-boiled egg that you dropped during Easter time, or a raw egg that you accidentally dropped getting out of the refrigerator, or maybe you cracked it wrong. Now, who has broke a whole dozen eggs? I haven't.
I don't think I have, but I know for sure that my kids have dropped a whole dozen eggs before. Whether it was the time I was bringing it in from the store,
Yeah.
and whoop, there they went, or they were trying to get the carton out of the refrigerator, and there went the whole dozen on the floor. But for my family, we don't buy a dozen. We buy the giant ones, so all of them went.
That would be a big mess. Jeremiah has a fascination with the eggs. He likes to help cook anyway, but he's notorious for getting the eggs broken. So eggs are fragile, aren't they? They're fragile just like we are. We talked about that last week in our lesson. And that's why we check them when we're buying them from the grocery store. We look in, check our eggs, and make sure that they're not cracked. We crack them. We may crack one by mistake ourselves, or sooner or later we'll drop one on the floor. We're human. We all make mistakes. 2 weeks ago, we talked about a bad egg, Judas. And we talked about how Judas sold Jesus out. That was all part of God's plan for our salvation. But Judas never had the chance to get over it. Judas died before Jesus did. Judas died before Jesus did at his own hand. Could Jesus have forgiven Judas? Would he have forgiven Judas? I really believe that he would. I have no doubt he would, as a matter of fact. God is God. God is a God who gives second chances.
That's true.
It is true. The whole reason he sent Jesus.
How many times have you gone through life and you've done something and you've been like, man, I wish I had a chance to do that all over? Maybe we talked about it last week where you didn't want to take a test and you're like, I don't want to do it. And God's like, you have to do it. How many times have we gone through life where we've had to do something and we didn't do it well, or we didn't do it the right way, and we were like, I wish I could have done that all over again. I feel like this is kind of what you're saying in your story right now, is that there are times, even as where we sit in today, that we wish we could have done things over. Had a second chance, and that God is the God of giving us a second chance, even when we mess up really, really bad.
Yeah, really, really bad. There's nothing that we could ever do that would make God stop loving us. And that's why he sent Jesus. Mankind had messed up. During our first chance with Adam and Eve is when we first messed up, right? Sin was introduced into the world. At that point, God knew that he was going to have to send a savior for us, and that's why he sent Jesus, to give us the ultimate second chance. Jesus would have given Judas a second chance because he gave a second chance to Peter. Before Jesus was arrested, he told a very vocal Peter that he would deny knowing Jesus 3 times that night. And that's exactly what happened.
I really think that this has a whole lot to do about second chances. As you were telling your story to the kids, I was thinking about a time, kind of funny moment in my life, where, and I bet a lot of you kids have done this. If you haven't, don't do it. It's not good. But I wanted bangs. So I went to the bathroom, I pulled out a big chunk of hair, and I snipped it away. The moment that I saw my bangs way up here, I really wish I had a second chance to do that. And though that's a funny story about wishing I had a second chance, I'm sure that as we've gone through life and you've gone through little things in your life you wish for a second chance in those moments.
At least your hair grew back.
My hair did grow back. Thank God it was at something. I guess I did get a second chance. Clearly, I don't have bangs anymore. So, we just talked about how Peter wished he had a second chance. And we're going to show you a little experiment. I hope you guys have enjoyed our egg-periments. I've done them at home. Hope you've done them at home. We have. My girls love them. So we're going to do this. Cassandra, I don't know that you'll see her, but you're going to hear her. She's going to walk you through. You can come over. Come join me. If I get wet, you'll get wet. Come on over. I feel like I should have a lab coat, like the doctors wear right now, so that I look official of doing an egg-periment. So she's going to walk me through this. I hope it works. I'm trusting her because I don't think I'm going to get a second chance if this fails. Okay.
All right. So what you need is a glass of colored water.
Oh. What color should we do? Blue or green?
Let's do blue for Remnant Kids.
Blue for Remnant Kids. Whoop, whoop. Okay. How many drops?
That's good.
How about one more?
Okay.
I like dark blue. That's a pretty color. Okay.
You need an egg.
Raw or
raw?
The raw egg. So if I drop this right now,
you don't get a second chance.
All right.
An empty roll of toilet paper, or empty toilet paper roll.
Hey.
And a flat surface, like a shallow pan.
Everybody should be able to find one of these right now.
Right. Or we're using a canvas, like what we used for the craft from last week. And so what you're going to do is you're going to have your container with water in it. You're going to place your flat surface over the top. You're going to put the roll of toilet paper, stand it up on end.
On end?
Yes. And then you're going to put the egg on top of there. I'm going to do it more. All right.
Okay.
So then you're going to take
What in the world could we possibly be doing right now?
You're going to take the flat surface.
Take the surface.
You're going to pull it towards you. And let's see what happens.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, if I pull this surface towards me, the egg is on top, and we just said that this egg is raw.
Yep.
So if it hits the glass container or my hard table, I'm going to have a mess. You want me to pull this?
I do.
Out from underneath the egg.
Yes. It's an egg-periment.
I don't know. I'm nervous.
I'm nervous too.
Do you think Peter was nervous when he denied Christ?
I do think Peter was nervous when he denied Christ. Or at least when you heard the rooster crow.
That must have something to do with our lesson. Okay. I'm going to trust you, Miss Cassandra. Do you pull soft or hard? Or do you just have to do what you got to do?
Just do what you got to do.
All right. Let's get a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Woo! Oh, look at that! I think it dinged the side, but it did go in.
I think it did.
I don't think it's damaged. Oh, maybe a little. But I would venture to say that when Peter denied Christ, he was more than a little broken.
Yeah.
But remember from last week, God can use our broken pieces.
God can use our broken pieces. Peter fell pretty hard the night that Jesus was arrested. He promised he would never turn away from Jesus, but he denied him 3 times. This made Peter and Jesus very sad. But Jesus loved Peter so much, he was willing to forgive him. We all mess up from time to time, but we can take comfort knowing that Jesus will catch us, just like the water caught the egg. He will forgive us of our sins, and he will give us a second chance. That's the whole reason he died for us. Well, we're going to have a Bible war.
Warm up your hands. Get them ready. We've been talking about these Bible wars, and Cassandra and I decided, hey, we've told them how to do it, but maybe they need to see how to do it. So let's, this is a great opportunity. Throw in some extra entries into our jar, our jug, our box, whatever you want to call it. Here's an opportunity. Who do you think is going to win this Bible war? Me? Should we do a Blake Shelton? Is that what he does? Or Cassandra?
Me.
Me.
No way. I'm going to win.
Nope. I'm going to win. I'm going to win. We're going to get a little help, though. So you're going to hear a voice, but you're not going to see a face. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready to lose?
I'm ready to win.
You can't if I'm going to win.
I'm going to win.
Okay, let's see.
Are you ready for Bible War?
Ready!
Are you ready
She's
for
not
the
ready.
book?
The book? This is the book.
The book of Matthew.
Matthew. Oh, I'm there. I'm in Matthew.
Chapter 26.
Oh, I'm not there.
Chapter
Are you there?
26.
Hang
And
on, hang on,
verse 31.
Oh.
Verse 31.
I was there. I was on 32, though, so I guess that doesn't count, does it?
We have a winner, and it is Cassandra.
Okay. Good job. Good
Yes,
job.
woman.
I'm proud of you for knowing your Bible. You chose Cassandra, or if you played along at all, we'll give you an entry. Yay!
Then Jesus told them, "This is the very night you will all fall away on account of me, for it is written, I will strike the shepherd, and the sheep of the flock will be scattered. But after I have risen, I will go ahead of you to Galilee." Peter replied, "Even if all fall away on account of you, I never will." "Truly, I tell you," Jesus answered, "this very night, before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times." But Peter declared, "Even if I have to die with you, I will never disown you." And all the other disciples said the same.
69 through 75. I beat her there, so I'm going to read it. Because she was reading the other one. It's okay, though. Now Peter was sitting out in the courtyard, and a servant girl came to him. "You also were with Jesus of Galilee," she said. But he denied it before all of them. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said. Then he went out to the gateway where another girl saw him, and he said to the people there, "This fellow was with Jesus of Nazareth." He denied it again with an oath, "I don't know the man." After a little while, those standing there went up to Peter and said, "Surely you are one of them, for your accent gives you away." Then he began to call down curses on himself, and he swore to them, "I don't know the man." Immediately a rooster crowed. Then Peter remembered the word Jesus had spoken, "Before the rooster crows, you will disown me 3 times." And he went outside and wept bitterly. Man, I just keep thinking about how many times I've had an opportunity to stand up and say that I believe in Jesus Christ, and I didn't have Jesus look me in the face and tell me, "You're going to deny me."
Right.
But God gives us opportunities all of the time to say, maybe not with our words, but to say, "I'm a believer. I believe in Jesus Christ," through our actions, through our words sometimes, Sometimes it's literally by saying, I believe in Jesus Christ. But more times than not, it is all about our actions. It's all about what we do, how we behave, what we tell, the truths that we tell.
By practicing kindness.
Yes.
And Peter witnessed all of Jesus' miracles. He was one of the disciples. He walked with Jesus. And put under pressure, he even said to Jesus that he would not disown him. And he did. He still did.
How many of you have ever said something like, well, if that happened, I would never do that? In so many ways, in this story of the process of Jesus, at times we can relate to each person that played an intricate role. Intricate means very, very detailed role in what Jesus had to go through, not for himself, but for us.
Yeah.
And we do the same things in our lives where we will say, if this happened, I would never, ever, ever do that again. Or if we say, if I could just accomplish this, I'll never go back to that.
Right.
But then how many times do we go back to that? We're not too different than Judas or Peter or the eggs that we've been talking about.
Right. Fragile.
Yeah.
Peter denied Christ 3 times, and the rooster crowed, and Peter knew he messed up. Can you imagine what that felt like for Peter and for Jesus? The sorrow that they felt? Do you know what happened after Jesus rose from the grave? He had to sit down with Peter. So a sit down is like having a talk with him.
Kind of like when you know you've messed up really, really bad, and you have to go and sit down with your parents.
Yeah, it's a lot like that.
And you have to confess what you've done, even though your parents most likely already know. But this is what Peter had to do, and we do that. We've had times where we had to sit down with some, maybe for you guys, it's probably your parents right now, and say, yeah, I did that. And you had to have the talk.
Right.
From my parents.
I've had to do that with parents. I've had to do that with some of the people that I've worked with.
Yeah.
Or maybe a friend that I offended or I didn't treat right or something. You have to have that talk with them and apologize. So Jesus sat down with Peter and he asked Peter 3 times, do you love me? And Peter answered, yes. Every time. Yes, Jesus, I love you. It was Jesus' way of showing Peter, I got you. I forgive you.
That's so good.
I'm giving you a second chance. It is good. Our God is God of second chances. Thank God for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we fall, he helps us back up. He gives us second chances. How many of you expected to see our egg broken today during our science experiment?
I thought it would go all over the place and that we would have a huge mess to clean up. Kind of like what I think Peter felt like after he had denied Christ 3 times, is that he realized, I have a huge mess to clean up. That's what I expected to happen when I pulled that out from underneath there, is that, I mean, it's a fragile egg with liquid inside.
Right.
Kind of like us. Think about it. Fragile. We got feelings and emotions all on the inside that can be hurt, and when they do, they just kind of go everywhere.
We do go everywhere.
So I really thought it would have
or negative,
gone everywhere. I thought it would have been a huge mess.
So when we fill ourselves with Jesus and we take on those fruits of the Spirit, when we're full of those, that's what's going everywhere. Love, joy, peace, patience. But when we're in the world and consumed with the things of the world, then we might be overflowing with grief or sadness or anger. And those aren't necessarily bad. You know, God gave us emotions for a reason, but when we can display them in bad ways.
What a great example. I just thought of it when you said that, was that Jesus was protecting Peter, and he was the one that came in and kept him safe. And all I could think of was our experiment, is that the world, because if I take this out of here, you're going to see that the shell got broken, but it wasn't the water that represents Jesus' safety and his love and his grace and his mercy for us. It was the world that broke his shell. It wasn't Jesus. What kept him safe, and from this, I'm using the egg as an illustration and saying this is Peter. If this was Peter, what kept him from shattering and becoming a mess for everybody else to have to clean up was the fact that he landed in the embrace of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's
The embrace is like a great big giant hug. You know, the ones you get from your grandpas that you absolutely can't wait to get the next time you see them. That's what those are like. I just couldn't help. That's just such an awesome story to think about how Jesus, even with our illustration, how he embraces us and he keeps us safe.
right.
Even if the world cracks us, he comes in and the egg still isn't pouring out because he is keeping us, he's keeping that egg secure.
Right. Just like we learned last week, eggs are fragile. He knows that we can be broken. And Peter was broken after he denied Christ 3 times. And we've been broken before too. We might be experiencing feelings right now with the things that are going on in the world, and learning this week that we're not going to get back to go to school, or the kids aren't going to be able to go back to school. I bet a lot of you are experiencing very strong emotions about that, and maybe feeling a little bit broken or a little bit sad about it. Well, we can find comfort in Jesus. He can comfort us like the water is comforting that egg, and heal and hold our broken pieces together and actually truly mend them.
That's so good.
Jesus went to catch Peter and keep him from breaking. He wanted to make sure that Peter knew that he was still loved. He assured Peter that he had a second chance. Peter made the most of the opportunity. Oh, do you know what happened to Peter after Jesus was resurrected?
What happened?
Well, Peter went on and he lived for Jesus completely.
So wait a minute. The person who denied Christ, Jesus forgave him, and he lived his whole life for Jesus after that?
He did.
Wow.
He lived his whole life for Jesus after that, even to the point of being crucified himself in Jesus' name.
What an example of truly making huge mistakes and turning your life back over to Christ and saying, just like what we've been talking about, how we all have broken pieces. And at times the first week we talked about the egg being sucked into the bottle, and the bottle represented the world sucking us in. This week, we're talking about how this glass jar represented the world, and how we all have the things of this world around us. Maybe some of you are sitting there and you're going, the world? But I live in the world. It's what gives me life right now. But what we're talking about are the things of the world that come in and cause you to make bad choices. The things that cause you to not live out a life that honors Christ. God really gives us a simple illustration of living out a godly life by giving us the fruits of the Spirit. So we are going to...
When you were talking,
Go ahead.
you said how Peter was forgiven and his life was radically changed. It reminded me of my story in my life, that I grew up going to church, and for a long time I had walked away from God, and I even stopped believing in God for a long time. And I know that God never left me, even though I wasn't living for him. I was making poor choices with my life and the things that I did. He was still with me, and he still never turned his back on me. I turned my back on him. And when I rededicated my life to Christ, he turned my whole life upside down.
What does it mean to rededicate your life to Christ?
When I rededicated my life to Christ, I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior again. I had done that when I was a child, but when I turned my back to God, I was basically being Peter, right? I was disowning him, and I was forgiven. I asked Jesus to forgive me of my sins, and I welcomed him into my heart. And he put this calling on my life to be a children's pastor and to minister to you kids and to speak life into you guys. And he has given me hope, and I would rather have my worst day with Jesus and have that hope than my best day hopeless.
That's so good.
Any day.
That's so good, Cassandra. So good. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable and letting them hear your heart. I think it's important for people to, for the kids especially, and some of you parents that don't really know us, to see where we come from and what our heart is for your kids to truly come to the knowledge and understanding of who Jesus is, but not just to come to that knowledge and understanding, but to live out a life that is pleasing and honoring to Jesus for the rest of their life. We want to help build that foundation in them. I believe that that is illustrated within this story of Peter and Jesus. Peter walked with Jesus. Peter talked with Jesus. And Jesus fed into his life, and he gave him the foundation. And even though Peter made a huge, huge, huge mistake that he regretted, undoubtedly he regretted it.
Oh, yeah.
But because of the foundation that he was given, the hope that God had put inside of him, he was able to turn those mistakes around into a life that would honor and please Jesus. So if you are at a point where you're going, I'm just really struggling with making some mistakes right now. Don't feel like that you can't say I'm sorry. You didn't deny Jesus. That's a huge mistake, and I don't want to make light of your issue, your situation, but there are always bigger mistakes to make. So learn from your mistakes right now and pray and ask God to help you get through whatever it is, the situation that you have going on. We're going to kind of do anything else you want there? Nope. Okay. We're going to kind of transition. Not last week, but the week before, we had a review game where we gave you some questions. Don't worry if you can't answer all of them right now. It is okay. We will put them in the comments of this video so you can go back and see what every question was so your child can answer that. When they answer it, go ahead and just answer it in one whole comment. Don't do like question 1, comment, question 2, comment, question 3, comment. I want to be able to make sure I give every kid the points that they need for answering the questions. So we're going to do the questions really quick. These questions are multiple choice. So again, don't worry. We will put them on there so that you can answer them later. Maybe take this moment to go back and help your kids understand why they're going to answer a certain way to the question. Question number 1 is, who was Peter? Who was Peter? Was he A, Jesus' brother? Was he B, Jesus' disciple? Or C, a servant of the high priest? Question number 2. How many times did Jesus say Peter would deny knowing him? A, 1 time, B, 2 times, or C, 3 times? Question number 3. When did Peter realize he had messed up? A, when the rooster crowed, B, when Jesus died, or C, when Peter was arrested? Question number 4. What happened when Jesus saw Peter after his resurrection? A, Jesus kicked him out of the group. B, Jesus disowned him. Or C, Jesus forgave him. Question number 5. Will Jesus give us a second chance when we mess up? A, yes, always, or B, yes, but only one time, C, no way. We'll put those questions on there so that you can go through and help your kids understand the answers to those. Make sure you comment them in the questions so that your kids can get entries into the drawing that we have going on. It will, they'll get one entry per correct answer per child. I hope all of you enjoyed our paint night that we had this week. It was so fun. I still haven't seen very many pictures yet. I want to see everybody's paintings, so go on there and post your pictures. We want to see them. We want to see them. This week's craft is a do-it-yourself at home. Again, use the materials you have. Don't stress or fret over trying to get out. We don't want to encourage you to disobey the stay-at-home order. So Soraya, my daughter, has done a craft for us. This week we're going to make, what are we making, Cassandra?
We're making a rooster.
We're making a rooster. This is her rendition of a rooster. I think it's quite adorable.
Me too.
And what you're going to do with your rooster is you're going to have your kid, you probably do need a paper bag, or use a paper and fold it over so that they can.
Or you could even make a rooster and put it on a popsicle stick or something like that.
But you want your child to be able, hello, how would a rooster talk? How do you think a rooster would sound?
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
But how's it going to tell the story? Anyway, have your child, after they make their puppet, or make it on a popsicle stick, however they make it, make a rooster head, whatever. Make a rooster somehow, some way, but have them tell the story of Peter denying and what role the rooster played in Peter's denial. Okay?
Good.
Fun. And then post your picture of your rooster. I love Soraya's. He's a cutie. Here, we're gonna stand him up here.
So, our game this week is the egg toss, and you can use whatever you have at home. The instructions, we could post this on Facebook too under the comments, but if you don't have hard-boiled eggs, that's what the instructions call for, a dozen of them. I mean, you don't need to do that. Don't be wasteful, unless you're maybe dyeing them for Easter, but they still are going to get broken. Maybe.
But maybe you want to really let your kids have some fun. And don't boil them. Use raw eggs.
I don't know about all of that.
Really? You're the one that wanted to use mustard to paint with.
I mean, I don't know. Egg is like more messy than mustard, I feel like. But it does say make 11 hard-boiled ones and use one raw for a variation, and so you can do that, and it's like hot potato, right, or similar. But you'll just want your kids to have a space where they're tossing the egg or a ball, plastic eggs, back and forth, and every time they toss the egg or ball, catch it, they have to take a step back. So you'll be making the distance.
So they're going to start close.
Start close.
And then toss it.
Toss it. And step back.
Step back. Then
Toss
you
it.
toss it.
And step back.
Step back. And then I toss it.
And I'll step back.
And
If we catch it.
Yeah. So if they don't catch it, that team's out.
That team's out.
Okay, so here, my family, we could have teams because I have a big family. You've only got one kid at home. Then you do it with them. The point is to just play the game and have fun tossing the egg back and forth. Maybe get dad involved, get a third person involved, and don't let them know that it's a
Raw egg.
raw egg.
That would be
Make
funny.
sure they're the ones that drop it. That would be fun.
And the point with that is that Jesus will catch us even when we fall and give us a second chance. And this week's announcements are, don't forget to put your posts post your pictures or your videos on Facebook under this video by April 4th, this Saturday. Or
No.
it'll be
Next.
April, what is that? 11th. April 11th. So you want to post them by Saturday, April 11th. You'll post your craft or your game, your memory verse. If you do the memory verse, it needs to be a video of you kids saying your memory verse.
We want to hear your kiddos
We want
saying
to see
the
them.
word.
We miss
wanna
them
hear
so
it.
much.
We want to see it,
Yes.
video it.
The other
Put it
things
in the
could
comments.
be videos or pictures. Either would be fine. And our memory verse for this week comes to us from 1 John 2:22. And it is, who is the liar? It is whoever denies that Jesus is the Christ.
Fun example of maybe how to get your kids to do their memory verse. Grab a string, grab some clothespins, put each word of the memory verse on each clothespin, and put the whole memory verse across the line like a clothesline, and then have them go through it saying it a few times, and then take any word away. And take all of them away until they can say it on their own. Another fun way is to, same concept, have the words on individual pieces of paper, index cards, whatever. Tape them on your wall and let them shoot at the words with Nerf guns. So put the words all over the wall in different orders and have them shoot the words in order that the scripture is. Again,
While they're saying it.
yes. Have fun with them. Be creative. We want the kids to know, and we want you to know, parents, that it is fun to serve God. And it is fun to learn His scriptures. The more fun that you can have, the more you will rely on it for kids. I firmly believe that. If we came here and were boring, I don't think it would be very influential or have an impact.
It's also life-changing. It's not only fun, it's life-changing.
Yep.
And what we did at my house this week with the memory verse is I wrote it on our bathroom mirror with a dry erase marker.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We love you guys.
Have fun with
We
it.
miss you guys.
Can't wait to see you. We are probably going to be doing another virtual class coming up soon. So we'll give you some
posted.
information on that later. Love you all.